Our next speaker is Annelies. He's coming from Netherlands, and he will speak about how to prepare for EAA in less than 3 weeks. Please give it up for her.
Thank you. Hi, thank you for being here in such great numbers. Thank you, Virginia, for telling your story. I think it's very important that it's, being told. My name is Annelies, and at Accessibility Desk, or Digitaal Toegankelijk in Dutch, I mainly focus on spreading information about how you can make your products and services more accessible. And you heard it's very important to do so. I started my WordPress journey a long time ago. I got to know Remkes de Vries. He's a co-founder of WordCamp Netherlands, and he does a lot more in the community. That resulted in my first workshop at WordCamp Netherlands in 2010. So I've been around for 15 years. I love hobbies. I have to start clicking. I need to remember that. 3 of them are listed. I'm a tennis player, I love board games, and I also adore cats. These are my cats. Very adorable. I love seeing them here. I'm happy to share with you how you can change the world for many people, like Virginia. Today I'm going to share more about the European Accessibility Act, or EAA in short, what needs to be done, who needs to do it, and as promised, the actual steps to prepare yourself in the next 3 weeks. Why 3 weeks? Because there's a deadline. In exactly 3 weeks from now, in every country in the EU, new laws will become into effect, which will mean that even from outside the EU, if you sell essential products or services to any consumer, they need to be accessible. There are exceptions to this. For example, when you have less than 10 full-time employees and less than 2 million turnover yearly, you are exempt. Also, if you are a B2B company and not working on consumer products, or if meeting certain criteria means your product or service will significantly change, you don't technically need to do it, but it's still important that you do. And why is that? We are very late in the EU with having actual laws and guidelines about accessibility in a broader context. While over 27% of people in the EU have a minor or severe permanent disability, we just never considered them important enough, which is crazy. Mind you, people can also have a temporary or situational disability. So it can happen to any of you at any second. That's something that people usually tend to ignore, but if you fall down and you hit your head pretty hard, it can lead to a disability. For reasons that are beyond me, we never took the guidelines for an accessible digital world fairly serious. While having guidelines for buildings, for example, is very common. Fun fact, the W3C accessibility guidelines exist since 1999. So that's over 25 years there have been guidelines, but for some reason nobody knows them or doesn't want to know them. Since 2006, there's also a convention about how we should consider disabilities, and we just don't do anything with it. So there's work ahead, but what exactly does this new legislation mean to you? The directive, because it's based on an EU directive, speaks of an approach that's called universal design. It's, sort of the same as human-centered design, but, at the first bit is a definition thing. Design for all is also used as a term there. All does not mean exclude people knowingly, because I have this conversation a lot of times and people say, well, it's just a minor group of people, why should we consider them? Well, because they are people, you want to consider them, right? And not just actual websites, apps or digital products need to be accessible. Basically everything that's involved in the sales process needs to be accessible. Makes sense, right? Because you can't make only your shopping cart accessible while the rest of your website and processes surrounding your sales product work like crap. So you need better processes and internal expertise and documentation. Your personnel needs to be trained, etc., etc. So it's a whole thing. It's a lot. I do need to give you some warning, or at least a note. I'm not a legal advisor. What I'm saying is very generic. I also already mentioned a few exceptions. There might be more exceptions. So it might be also slightly different in your own country because of interpretation of this directive. So please find legal advice. That's my unofficial step one. So these steps are not a one-size-fits-all. I'm going to share them. I'm aware that some of you work for clients, some of you might be the client. I hope you can appreciate the effort to make it as widely usable as possible. And well, I have prepared first a list of the things you don't have time for in the next 3 weeks, but there are things that you need to do in the end. But it could take up to 1.5 to 2 years if you're doing it, well, greatly. For everyone, it starts with homework. You have to read upon what is this exactly about and what rules do I need to follow. Then there's the scoping. This is about checking which departments, manager, flows, apps, websites, anything is affected. After that, make it more specific by doing a thorough inventory of everything that needs to comply in the end. And then you'll have to have some support internally, maybe externally. Go find it, because without it, anything you do is probably doomed to fail. And also seek support from people with actual disabilities, because they are the people you're doing it for and they have expertise in how the world works for them. You also need to get a baseline, so get quick scans or audits in, make a plan of approach, and with all you've learned, make it an actual long-term project. So get budgets, make a planning, and then keep working on it. Basically forever, because it's not something you do and then you stop and then it's fixed. It's a continuous process. And then also make sure you can report it to supervisory authorities and also translate it into internal policy. So find out what works and who needs to do the work. This is a very short list in the end. Obviously, I could add many, many details, but your situation might require more comprehensive consulting. So in any case, if you start, find the right experts to help you with these steps, because like I said, it's a lot. Now, you can't do all these things in 3 weeks, can you? You don't have time, but still no panic. Although I would love it if you panic a little bit and then just start doing things. Because without a little panic, nothing happens. There are a few helpful things you can do, in my opinion, which will help with compliance, but it will also start helping actual people. So authorities will probably not start sanctioning you like from day one, but that's also an opinion. It could be that the authorities in your country are like, okay, let's check everything and everyone, and they will send out warnings. I'm not sure. To get to the point, for agencies or designers, because I've split them up because I don't know who you are, it's up to you how proactive you want to be in this. So fact of the matter is, you can lose business if you can't make accessible designs or websites, because your clients will start asking for it. Please ask me about the right tools later, because I don't have time to get into that. But there are many great tools out there, like extensions for in your browser or plugins for WordPress. There are a few present here. Equalize Digital is downstairs in the sponsor area. I can recommend that one. The organizations that want to hire you will need to have proof that you are able to make accessible products. If you already built the parts at some point, you can make blocks and you can make them accessible and you can reuse them throughout your clientele. According to the accessibility guidelines, that's what they need to comply with. It's easier to either keep your business or create new business. So there's, work to be done and there's opportunities. I mean, who doesn't love a good opportunity? So if you are an organization, the first step seems obvious, but blindly going in will cause a panic within your organization. So find out if you need to comply and in what way and what needs to be done exactly. So make a list of everything that you own or has product owners and that are under your control. In regard to the second one, make someone responsible for digital accessibility, actually paying someone to get things done sends out the message that you find it important. So this is the one for owners or managers that are in control of hiring people. So it will make sure people take it seriously and things will get going. This person can find ambassadors inside and outside and other enthusiasts to help. The last step is one you might need for compliancy. Even if you're not fully accessible yet, you need to explain to people and maybe your supervisory authorities what your status is in terms of accessibility and what you're going to do to fix it and when you're going to do that. And you need to keep that updated over time. I don't have time, unfortunately, for a more in-depth explanation. I can talk about this for hours, as I did last year at WordCamp the Netherlands. Took me 5 more minutes than I was allowed, but still. You can start after this weekend by taking the first steps. Without having started, you will never reach the finish. I mean, I don't know if there are runners in here, but if you take part in a competition, well, you have to start. One thing I want to add, and I already said it, it is about people. It's not about legislations or laws. So even though you might need to comply, I think you should in any case work on accessibility. Even if you don't need to, you should want to do this. Virginia told her story. There's so many out there that have similar stories about different disabilities, and you cannot see it. You might not know it. You might even have them within your own company and might not know it. So you're affecting real people's lives and you're improving it. So you can actually change the world. Remember that. If you're still hesitant about what's next for you, come find me at the WordPress Cafe and I'm around all day. There's also other people that can help you. There's Elvira somewhere in the back and there's Rian here. They also know a lot about accessibility and about the right tools to get started with it. So, well, that was it. Thank you.